guess I'm just gonna do these now, huh? Well, we're gonna get some new updated ones here, because these mics are. We don't really have any prepared updates. It's more or less just an opportunity for you guys. We have a couple things that I know you guys are interested in, so we'll just start. We'll just open it right up.
The shooting in Central West End early this morning, can you talk about what you might have learned about what led up to it? I know, is the suspect still out there? I know there's a camera right there on the corner. That's an SLMP camera.
Yeah, there are numerous cameras in that area, and our District 5 detectives are handling the investigation. We do know that a 33-year-old man who we believe is part of the unhoused community was shot after an exchange of words with an armed individual. It is still very early in the investigation, but we know that that shooting happened right there at South Taylor Avenue near Laclede. Our officers got the call, District 5 officers got the call, along with our officers that were assigned to the tornado disaster area, because we still have a detail in place. So everyone responded to that area when the call for a shooting came in. They located that man who had been shot in the leg. He was transported to the hospital in critical, unstable condition. So our homicide detectives were originally notified of the incident, but we did get word after receiving some incredible care at the hospital that he had made some drastic improvements. So our District 5 detectives are going to be handling the investigation. Anyone with information about what happened should call Crime Stoppers. You can also call our North Patrol Division detectives, but we do know that there was some type of altercation that took place, an exchange of words that led to shots being fired.
Are there any details on the suspect that you're able to share?
Not right now.
For the slideshow, were there any arrests, and can you explain a little bit more details about, do you guys have any leads on possibly on those 40 to 50 cars there?
Well, I can tell you that our officers got a call. Mobile Reserve officers responded. We met before going into approach. As our officers went in, cars started to flee. They scattered in multiple directions, and as vehicles were not only fleeing our officers but being reckless, they were spiked. And I don't know if you guys saw any of the Reddit comments. They were pretty interesting. People were saying that they were leaving some of the events downtown and they saw multiple cars with flat tires on the side of the road. We sent the clear message that we wanted to send. And if you come into our city and you engage in this reckless behavior and you flee us, you will be spiked, and your vehicle will have damage.
But no arrest?
No arrests, but the message was sent.
Was that impoundment of any of those vehicles, including the ones that people called about that had tires that were popped? Were any of those impounded?
No, no vehicles were impounded.
Can you talk more about the slideshow and, like you said, the message to these people to stop it? I mean, this is the second time your message.
Yeah, no, we have to be strategic in how we approach these drivers. We've had officers nearly hit by some of these individuals that engage in this reckless behavior. And so as a police department, we have to be mindful of public safety, weighing the risks to other people that are on the street, and figuring out how to be effective in the most appropriate way. At this moment, we find this strategy to be effective. And we believe that if you are going to risk your own life and you're going to risk the lives of others, that you need to be held accountable and you need to face the consequences of your actions. And we have to be strategic in how we approach that. And you know, when we see, there was a public information officer with Mobile Reserve Friday night. That's how you guys were able to get the videos that we proactively shared with you. There were cars that were driving away at a very appropriate speed, and they were not creating a risk to our community. Those vehicles were not spiked. The vehicles that were engaged in the reckless behavior, that were fleeing at an excessive speed and fleeing our officers, those vehicles were spiked.
How many would you say then were
Between
spiked?
40 and 50.
Were the ones that were spiked, okay. So then
But
there was
there were-
definitely more cars then there.
Officers estimated at least 80 vehicles possibly involved. And so the vehicles that were engaged in the reckless disregard for public safety were the vehicles that were spiked because they were fleeing our officers.
Were they all spiked in that one location on Manchester, or did like last time where you guys kind of followed them throughout the city?
The message was sent loud and clear in that one instance.
So
We-
it was just
It was
one
just
location?
that one location.
Will you-
If they don't get the message, though, are you going to
We will
take
continue.
a step further, like start impounding vehicles and saying, nope, these are ours?
We have impounded vehicles, but which vehicle do you impound? No, I'm being serious.
What'd you catch?
But if there's 50 vehicles fleeing you, which one are you going after? No, I'm being. I mean, like, it's a realistic question. So, I mean, those are questions that we've asked ourselves as a police department, and we're going to continue to ask. You can look at what some other cities are doing. Other cities are bringing huge gates and locking everybody inside. We have not taken that approach, but the approach that we're taking right now is that you are being spiked if you're going to engage in this behavior and you flee law enforcement, because we have to be mindful of the large number of vehicles, the mass number of vehicles that are involved in this behavior.
Is an approach like that with the gates being considered?
It hasn't been discussed.
So where are the vehicles you think on the side of the road or where?
I was just going off of Reddit. I mean, it looked like there were some on 64, there were some on Jefferson. They were kind of scattered. If you go into the Reddit comments, they're like, well, I guess this works because they've stopped. You know, they're not being reckless anymore, because the point of spiking a vehicle is for it to safely deflate while the vehicle is driving. It is a tactical move that this police department uses during a tactical pursuit. You guys have covered it before. Gosh, it reminds me of Nate Spees when we spiked the vehicle, initiated a tactical pursuit, and that vehicle slowly, the tires deflated. And so that is the point, and it usually proves to be successful for us as a police department.
To his point though, sir, if they don't get the message, are you guys thinking of other strategies on what's needed to be done?
We continue to have conversations about what we're doing, how we're doing it, and if we need to reevaluate. We believe that the strategy that we have in place is effective right now. If things change, you guys will probably not be the first to know, because that would defeat the purpose, but you'll certainly be well aware of what happens after we do it, just like we did over the weekend.
Is this a strategy that you all are using more often now? Because I've noticed in charging documents recently, there's been a lot of resisting arrests, and in almost every one they say the vehicle was spiked. So I'm curious, is this something that you all have identified as a strategy that you're using more often?
It's a strategy that we proactively talk about more often, and we share with our community. It is something that has been used before, and I would say that as a police department, you guys know there was a lot of changes made when I was hired to utilize some of the tactics and share that proactively. The chief has given us that that grace in the public affairs office, and we are using it.
So would you say, is it being used more often, or are you just proactively talking about it more?
We're proactively talking about it.
Are you patrolling this area more, or any areas that seem more vacant parking lots where these activities probably are more attractive to this type of incident?
I would share that the 6500 block of Manchester was a new location that our officers were not aware that they had went to. Our community told us about it, and that's when we responded. So when looking at this, we know of the hot spots. We know the areas that they like to visit. They like the large parking lots. They like the room to put on these events. But the 6500 block of Manchester was a new area that we were not aware of.
How do you gauge the long-term effectiveness of this approach? Is it the amount of these meetups that happen? Is it how many cars are involved with these meetups?
The message has been, the message is very clear, and I had an opportunity to speak to some folks over the weekend that were involved in this, that the individuals that engage in this, a lot of them are aware of what we're doing. We have to weigh how often we can be proactive and how often we can proactively share what we're doing with you guys, because they are learning our strategies, and so we have to readjust. And so if they're taking the time to learn what we're doing, it means that what we're doing is working and it's being effective. And so if you recall Holly Hills, we sent that very clear message. We talked about it. It had slowed down for a few weekends, and then it happened again. So at this point, the strategies that are in place appear to be working because they are familiarizing themselves with what we're doing.
Anything on the 8-year-old injured? Just a sad situation there.
It's heartbreaking. Thank gosh that 8-year-old's okay, and that she was not more seriously injured. I do know that we released a lot of information last night. The 22-year-old man who was shot and killed there last night, the 8-year-old girl that was grazed in her wrist, and then the 25-year-old who was located about a block away, he was shot in the leg. Our homicide detectives have been on this since last night. They're continuing to work leads. What we can tell you is that all 3 of the individuals that were injured or killed by gunfire last night were all in the back seat of a SUV, a vehicle, there in the parking lot, when there was some type of disturbance with another group of individuals that came up, and shots rang out. We believe that one of the rear occupants of that vehicle was targeted. The others were injured in the gunfire. But we believe that the one individual that was in the rear was targeted.
I have a question, just
Sure.
kind of circling back to that May 24th incident, the 9-year-old that was killed, 10-year-old that was injured, and the dad that was also injured. Do you guys have any more information on suspects in this, information from people in the community?
Yeah, and another, heartbreaking situation that a young person is impacted by gun violence in our city. What I can tell you is that our detectives continue to work leads and continue to interview people. They continue to execute search warrants related to the homicide, which is normal in any homicide investigation. They're doing it right now from the shooting last night in Baden. So I know that there was some media interviews with the family saying that it was road rage. We as a police department, we have not been able to verify that. It's under investigation right now, and we're going to continue to investigate.
Just with that, what does it take to qualify as road rage? Is it when you get the suspect and them telling you what led up to? Like, what does it take to qualify it as road rage if that's how the family sees it versus how you guys investigate it?
Well, if the family sees it that way, keep in mind there's 3 sides to every story. And so until we know and can articulate that it was road rage, then we're not going to say that it's road rage until we have exhausted and completed a thorough investigation.
So does the Speed Track Raceway over there, do they still do the public can come in and do their driving stuff?
I'm not sure. If not, you can
Right.
point everybody to that raceway.
Right.
Yeah.
Just back to the road rage concept for a second. Can you talk about what you see in terms of, is that something we're frequently seeing lead to shootings in the city? Is that a once in a while situation? How often is this?
I don't have specific numbers to articulate how many road rage incidents have occurred in the city, but I think that the police chief and the former mayor, now the current mayor, have all expressed concerns about reckless driving and dangerous driving habits. When you look at people's sense of reality, we have a serious problem where people solve problems with guns and they're short-fused. And so until we can clearly articulate what happened in the shooting that killed the 9-year-old, I don't want to speak more specifically about that, but I mean, I don't have any specific numbers either about road rage, other than people have short fuses and they like to resort to their guns.
And then just back to the Central West End incident for a second. I know you mentioned that the victim is unhoused. Is there thoughts that the suspect is unhoused? I know you mentioned that the suspect, you don't have a description yet, but I'm assuming that means they haven't been caught or arrested yet.
I don't have any information about the suspect at this point.
For the slideshow, do you worry about no arrest or anything of that sort? That this is just kicking the can down the road to another, this happened at Holly Hills and now it happened somewhere near Dogtown. Do you just worry it's just going to be moving to another location and they continue doing it if there are no arrests?
This is nothing new. I mean, this has been a continued problem for years in the city of St. Louis and across the country. I would highly encourage you to take a look at police departments across the country and what they're doing. And trust me, we're doing the same thing. We're watching what some of these police departments are doing and how they are adapting to strategies that these people start to learn, and the drivers that are engaged in this behavior start to learn. So we'll continue to reevaluate, but right now we believe that this strategy is the most effective at deterring the behavior and making sure that people know that this is not welcome in St. Louis. And I think that as you start your research at what police departments are doing, you'll see that it is a problem across the country. It's not unique, and that police departments have to be creative in how they deal with this issue.
Just for your observation on Friday night, was it somewhat, 80 is that a lot for you or compared to other incidents, or was that smaller in scale?
I was not there. Somebody from my office was there, though, and then, of course, we had mobile reserve officers. This seems, it just varies. It's hard to put in. It varies.
Have you guys figured out how they organize? Are they kind of like
Social
protesters
media.
did a few years ago? Are they sending out messages saying, okay, we're meeting here on Facebook, or they have an email track or something about how to...
I don't want to go into the details of how it's organized.
What do we see in the video you released?
It's Emmy. What did she say?
Oh, yeah.
Right in the action. I was wondering where Channel 4 was during all this. So what you see is an officer that is assigned to the Public Affairs Division. They were with mobile reserve officers, and they were capturing the video of as some of these cars were fleeing. You will notice in one of the videos there's a person hanging out of a window. That is normal during these slideshow behaviors, and they were being very dangerous. But I will say, they were not fleeing at the excessive rate and speeds that others were fleeing. And so there is video that we did not release as a department because it showed our undercover detectives, it showed our undercover vehicles, that they were not spiked because the behavior had stopped. It was the other vehicles that continued to be reckless and flee that ended up being spiked. And I'm sure they have a costly bill today.
The public information officer that was there with the mobile reserve unit, was that just happenstance, or was that you guys had some intelligence?
Highly coordinated.
Okay.
Yeah. We assigned a public information officer to work with that weekend detail so that way we could capture what we were doing. There were a lot of complaints from you guys and the community that they didn't get to see the enforcement side to all of this. And so we are trying to show what we are doing.
How many officers were there? I just think about all of those resources that could have been towards, the tornado relief or anything else of another incident.
We had multiple units there, and we shared that on the social media posts. We had officers assigned to Mobile Reserve, SWAT, along with the Anti-Crime Task Force and our Drug Enforcement Intervention unit. So both marked police cars and undercover detectives.
Anything else?
Anything else? No? Okay. Thank you, guys.